Hello, everyone! In this lesson, we'll be talking about Kung Fu, what it consists of, its origins, and some references so that you can understand it much better. In order to draw our Kung Fu passes, we need to know the references on which we can base ourselves, and also learn a little bit about this millenary martial art. This is one of the most well-known in China, and it's extrapolated to almost all martial arts that exist. So Kung Fu is one of the cornerstone of martial arts. So, when it comes to Kung Fu, it's not merely a martial art. Kung Fu is whatever you do to improve your life. Kung Fu also refers to a refined skill that is achieved after hard work. For example, when referring to drawing, it means that I'm a professional and have excellent drawing skills. Kung Fu is the perfection of an art, broadly speaking, since within martial arts, Kung Fu comprises many forms and parts of other martial arts. In fact, many Chinese martial arts derived directly from Kung Fu. When Kung Fu began as a martial art, it didn't present artistic forms of animals nor striking poses. Kung Fu became a martial art later on, when Shaolin monks began to study animal shapes and their behavior. They used animals' features to develop specific martial art techniques. These animals, represented in Kung Fu, have a spiritual symbolism. Apart from this, each stroke or each claw, as it's called in Kung Fu, is applied to different parts. For instance, the crane claw would be applied when trying to attack the opponent's eyes or pricking key pressure points. The tiger claw would be for strong pushing or very sudden movements, and so on. Each of them has a particular function. Another of the purposes of Kung Fu is to channel the energy that is inside our body to carry it directly to the points of impact. This is the reason why martial artists usually breathe slowly and then expel it as if they were pulling it out of their arms or legs. For example, it's pretty similar to what is done in Dragon Ball, although obviously the latter is more fantastic, right? Kung Fu, as I already mentioned, originated in the Shaolin Temple in China. If you want to search for more information, you simply have to look this up on the internet and you'll find the Shaolin Temple. Monks still practice there. Many people can access the temple and practice with them doing the same training they do. They train many hours a day, from early in the morning until later at night. For this reason, most Shaolin monks, when they reach the age of 20-something years, they have to retire to study because the body is already worn out. So, at this point, you have all the information more or less regarding Kung Fu and what it means. Now we're going to look at the references related to Kung Fu. I'm sure that you are familiar with them. To begin with, I bet that the first thing that comes to your mind when I say Kung Fu is Kung Fu Panda. Am I right? This DreamWorks movie is one of the most famous Kung Fu-related movies. Actually, this movie is based on the Kung Fu animals, and their movements can be appreciated throughout the movie. Obviously, we cannot ignore Mulan, of course. Do you remember the scenes where the characters fight and train? Well, in all of them, the characters are using Kung Fu techniques to practice. In the pictures you can see on the screen, we can see they are using the stick, which is one of the weapons used in martial arts like Kung Fu. I'm pretty sure that after knowing more about Kung Fu, you'll understand the movie differently. And of course, Dragon Ball. This is entirely Kung Fu. The characters develop this art to fight against their enemies. It can be appreciated in the first chapters at the beginning of the series, where Kung Fu is the cornerstone of all artistic and fight movements that appear in the Dragon Ball series. Have a look and you realize that Kung Fu is everywhere. Another example is the series Avatar, The Legend of Korra. We can see that the characters use Kung Fu, but with the fourth elements water, air, fire, and earth. This way, they combined the earth elements and apply them to Kung Fu movements. So, guys, as you can see, Kung Fu is present in many movies, and not only in animation movies, but also we find Kung Fu in real action movies. Do you know Jackie Chan, right? Well, in the Karate Kid movie, Kung Fu is used mostly, even though it's called karate. Most of the movies starred by Jackie Chan are based on Kung Fu. So, here you also have the images of the drunk monkey from the movie in which he develops this style of Kung Fu. Have a look at them. You probably remember Sang Ziyi from the movie Memoirs of a Geisha. And here we have the movie of the House of Flying Daggers. In this movie, which is based on a romance, we find different fight scenes, which are based on Kung Fu art with weapons. I recommend that you watch it to learn more about the more artistic part of Kung Fu. Obviously, the greatest master of Kung Fu has always been Bruce Lee. In many Bruce Lee's movies and also many videos of him that we can find online, it can be observed that all of the poses are related to Kung Fu. Bruce Lee was a student of Ip Man. Probably Ip Man sounds familiar to you because of a film, but we'll talk about it later. Therefore, I recommend that you watch Bruce Lee as a basic reference of Kung Fu. This actor, Jet Li, is likely to ring a bell from several movies that have to do with martial arts in slightly more artistic way. The movie Hero, for example. In this movie, Hero, Jet Li works with other Kung Fu artists. If you look for movies of this actor, you realize what I just said. This actor, Donnie Yen, played Ip Man in several movies about the life of Ip Man, who was a great martial arts master. As you can see on the right, he also appears in the movie Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and plays one of the characters fighting alongside Yin. So now that you more or less know the main references, I'm going to explain to you a little bit which animals make up the Kung Fu levels. The crane is the most basic level that exists. All beginners start with the crane. As you can see, you see here is the typical crane's claw. We see it in many of the poses in which we use the crane style. The following rank is the tiger, and it is represented with the yellow sash. We have this claw for the tiger style. Therefore, if we want to represent the tiger's poses, we'll need to draw or look for this type of claw. The tiger is characterized by the strength, the power, and the anger we use when making this martial art. The next level is the snake, and it's represented with the green sash. When referring to the snake, we speak about a style much more fluid, agile, and particularly cunning. The snake's claw is the one we can see on the right, and it's made by just reaching out. When you see poses like this, you will quickly realize that we are talking about this pose, this style. Okay, the next to last level of Kung Fu is the leopard, represented by a purple sash. The leopard's claw is represented with a half-opened fist called leopard's fist. This animal is slightly different to the tiger. The leopard hasn't that much strength nor anger as the tiger has, but instead relies on outsmarting its opponent. And the last level is the dragon. It's represented with a black sash, and it's the highest level in Kung Fu. As you can see, the dragon claw positions the digits in a flat orientation, similar to the lotus position in yoga. It simulates the Chinese dragon claw, which is a kind of completely open. Obviously, we are referring here to the Chinese dragons, not to the classical dragons. So, guys, I think that you know all you need regarding Kung Fu to represent your martial art poses. In the next lesson, we are going to look into the clothing that martial artists wear. I hope that you liked the lesson and that you learned the basics of Kung Fu. See you in the next video. Bye!